Hi, welcome to another edition of Legal Quilts. Yes, this is the third week in a row. And this is the last one for June because, like I said, I'm going to be taking time off, just relaxing. And we're going to do something really simple. It's not actually quilting, but it does involve fabric scraps, so it counts. When hubby and I travel, he does all the driving for safety reasons. So, trust me, safety reasons. But he wants me, looking around so we can talk and pay attention. So I can't sleep, I can't read a book. I have to have something that will occupy me, but I can still engage with him. So I don't like to sew while we're going along because holding a sharp, stabby thing while you're going along the road is not really safe. Plus, I got to cut, which is more sharp, stabby things with the scissors, and I'm always afraid I'm going to cut the project. And then there's all the little threads. I don't mind wearing threads. I don't mind them in my car. He doesn't like them in his car. So that kind of leaves out sewing. So I had to come up with something that was small, portable, and easy. So we're going to try this year as we go traveling around. And it's very simple. We're going to be making fabric wreaths. Okay, I got two sizes here. I got the little circle. I got this one at Joann's. And then I got the larger star at the dollar store. Dollar store had all kinds of shapes. They had a ribbon one too. I'll talk about that in a second. And this is really, really simple to make. All right. There's other, you can see finished ones. I didn't finish one because I'm taking it on vacation this summer. And I want to have something to work on. So it's really simple. You just take your fabric, like I have this cute little bunny fabric here, and you cut strips. Now you have to decide how big of a strip you need depending on the spaces between the lines here, okay? This one needs about an 11 inch. This one you can get away with a 10 inch. So I'm just cutting all mine between 10 and 11 inches. And you don't want your strips to be too wide either. So I'm cutting mine between an inch and a half. Your lines don't have to be exactly straight. It's roughly between 10 and 11 inches long and between 1 and 1/2 inch, Actually, I think I'm cutting mine 1 1/4, but you can cut them 1 1/2. Okay, you're not going to get the seam allowance that you're used to, so think about how you want to cut them. But the narrower you cut them, the more you're going to need. And so you just take your fabric and you cut a strip. Okay, and then from the strip, you cut your length ones. And like I said, I'm cutting them about 10 inches. Actually, when I say between 10 and 11, I wind up doing 10 1/2. But it's what you need. And I know you probably just couldn't see me there. All right, and you just cut them down. And again, your cuts don't have to be straight. It doesn't have to be exactly right. Because this is not, it's so simple. And again, it's scraps and what you do. The straightness doesn't matter here. And it doesn't have to be perfectly ironed or anything. Because again, what you're going to do with this. I've seen some where you rip and then you get kind of the distressed edge, which some people like on those. And if you have a piece left over that's not quite long enough, which this one's, that one is. But if you have a piece left, I just throw it in my string bucket for use with strings. Always close your rotary cutter. And then I just throw these in a bag. Yeah, this is an old wine bottle bag. I don't even know how we got it. We don't drink wine. And I've got this whole bag full of strips. The idea is to bring it along on the trip with probably the smaller one because this one's not real portable. But maybe it is. And that's all I need to bring on the car on the trip. No thread, no needles. I mean, my sewing kit will be coming with me for the evenings. When we're not driving, I don't have to worry about sharp, stabby things. But for in the car, this is all I need. And you just reach into the bag. If you're doing this scrappy, it doesn't really matter. And you pull out a strip, okay? And you see this has 4 here. All right, you're just going to work 2 you're going to overlap. You're actually going to have to do 3 because you're going to do 2. Did I do this? 1, 2. Yeah, you're going to wind up doing 3 for each row. And you just tie a knot. Double knot it so it really stays. Again, see the way it doesn't matter the size or if your ends are perfectly straight. And then you take another one. Just reach into the bag. There we go. And you do, I did these 2 inner 2s. Start with the inner one because if you're doing it on the way in, if you do it from the outer in, these pieces get in your way. And remember to just shove them out of your way. And then you did these 2. You want to do the next 2. You always want to overlap. That one's a little close together and it's painful. You always want to overlap. So you do this and and that's to prevent gaps, because if you don't overlap and they separate out, you're going to get gaps. Okay, so it kind of interlocks them, not really, but kind of layers them together, and you just do that. And then you do it again for the outer layer. Another one here. That'll do. I'm hoping I can get good enough at this to do without really looking, just grabbing and tying, as I'm not really looking right now. I think I might have to look to make sure I get it through the 2 things correctly. But other than that, I'm hoping I can just get this down so that I don't so I can, enjoy the pretty countryside we're driving through. All right, I can definitely engage with them even if I'm looking down. And then you just keep going until you're all done. Okay? And you get these fuzzies on here, and if you don't like the length, you can trim them down when you're done. But that's the circle. And you do the same thing for the star, okay? Now you see this one has 3. So you do the same thing though. Just reach in and grab something out. I got a lot of this pink in here. I went a little nuts cutting it. And you do the same thing. Now here we're already up against a piece. Well, not quite. And you do the same thing. Do it with 2 of them. Tie it off. Double knot it. And then grab another one and do it from the center to the outer one. And you just keep going around. Like I said, there's all kinds of shapes out there. I'm trying to get my hand on a heart one. I'd love it if there was a butterfly one out there. If anyone knows of a butterfly, I'd really love to make that. And you just keep going. Again, just double knot. This is all it is. Just knot and go, knot and go. And you just go. And that's what it looks like. And then when you finish it, you're done. Now, when you get to these edges here, you just want to make sure you're pushed up against each of those rods so that, again, there doesn't seem to be a lot of spacing and it flips over. Again, you're still going to be able to make the corners here because you'll be pushing it up against here and you'll be interlocking. 1, 2, 2, 3. Then you just do that all the way around. What I liked about the ribbon-shaped one is that if you really want to do a themed one, say you had a lot of purple left over for you could do a purple one for Alzheimer's. You could do, if you've got a lot of pinks, you can do a pink one for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And these are just wreaths that you just hang on your door or hang wherever. And like I said, this one came from the dollar store. This is, or if they had smaller sizes, I would have gotten it. And this wasn't too expensive at Joann's. And they had a couple other shapes too at Joann's. But I wanted to go with the smaller one first because, like I said, it just fits in the bag. And that's it. That is the very simple, on the go, in the car sort of thing you can work on to reduce your scrap pile, keep your hands busy. Well, obviously not while you're driving, but while you're being driven somewhere, if, you go on family trips and you've got the ability to do it. Again, these come in all kinds of shades. Amazon has them. Dollar store, if you don't have one near you, and I think everybody does have one near you. Dollar stores has lots of them. Joann's has them. And it's a great way to reduce your scraps without having to sew. It's a no-sew project. Cut a bunch of strips before you go on your trip. Just have them ready to go, and you're all set. Your shape will sort to the bottom of the bag, but that's okay. So that's it for this edition. Just something nice and simple to get you going on the road, using up your scraps this summer. That's it for June. We're not going to have any more in June. The next one is going to be July 1. The next video will be out July 1. Since that's 4th of July weekend, I'm going to see what I can do for Quilts of Valor, see if they've got a good scrappy pattern. And we'll put that out there and we'll talk about that. Quilts of Valor is a great organization that we should all support. They believe in giving quilts to those who have been touched by war. Don't forget, we're still doing the Ukraine one. I'll put a link to that video in the comment notes. I'm hoping to get sunflowers from everybody so that I can sew them into one quilt. So keep up on that, and don't forget to visit the website, visit a cup of coffee, visit Ko-fi, buy me a cup of tea. And I need to tell you something about that. If you buy me a cup of tea, which I believe it's set at $3 or $2, I can't remember, but it's a really low number to buy me a cup of tea. What I do for everybody who does, I will make one quilt block for a charity quilt, and then when I get enough for a charity quilt, which I think it's set at 48 blocks, when I get 48 blocks, I'll donate that quilt to charity. So not only are you helping me continue to do videos, you're helping an organization. It's a very basic block that I have that I'm going to do because it uses scraps. Oh, big surprise there. Called Button, because, you know, like you press the donate button. So you'll be pressing the donate button if you buy me a cup of tea, because I don't drink coffee. So it's cup of tea on there. And you'll be helping others. So keep that in mind. And of course, visit the website. I've got pretty much everything up there. I got to actually go through and see what I finished that never made it on there. But everything pretty much is up there. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. All of that stuff is in the QR code. But I'll be putting the links to the website and the Ko-fi site in the notes. As always, I'd love to hear from you. Subscribe if you haven't already. Comment. I do love to hear from you. I take into account what y'all say. If I can fix it, I do. I'd like to see your projects. Post them on Instagram and tag Legal Quilts, and I'll come comment, and I'd love to see those. I'd like to see everybody's projects. But share, boost, all of that stuff helps. Every little bit helps, all right? So until July 1, have a wonderful, safe June. If you are traveling, please be safe, and I will see you in July.